Hello, my name is Ash. I am the designer and hopefully the publisher of Colt, a trick-taking game with a unique post-trick draft. At the moment, the campaign is 92% funded. We have 4.5 days to go. So this is really the final sprint, the final stretch to hopefully that 100%. I wanted to show you one last thing that I haven't really highlighted very much in the campaign, and that is just a physical prototype that I have at the moment. Now, this is not everything that you would get in the box, but it hopefully gives you a sense of what you would find in there and how it might look on your table. First of all, the box itself. It will not look exactly like this. It will look something like this, but about twice the size. That's because one of the things I have decided to add in playtesting and after just talking to a bunch of people at conventions and such is a scoreboard. This does not currently have a scoreboard in the prototype. You will have seen a scoreboard in some of the reviews that content creators have created, but it's not in the prototype that I have here. Now, the reason I added that scoreboard is because I quite like adding things up. I find numeracy fun. I'm a weirdo. Most people don't like adding 12 to 7 to 15. They don't like doing that. They don't want it at a table, and they find a scoreboard much easier. And that's why there is a scoreboard in the version that I brought to Kickstarter. What else is in there? You have these cards here which make up the temple. And the temple is where you will add cards that have been added to your tableau. At the end of each hand, you add them to the temple to score points if you've done them in the correct order. So we just have these here showing the 4 suits in the game. Super simple. Other things we have is this little card, which is used to show who's just won the trick. I found this useful at higher player counts, at 4 in particular. It can be somewhat burdensome to remember who's won the trick, who's going to lead the next one, especially towards the end of the game when you might want a minute to figure out that drafting phase. This just helps you remember who's won the trick, who's leading the next one. Up to this, we've got just 2 different kinds of cards. First of all, we have the actual playing cards, which you can sort of see here, with that nice vaporwave aesthetic that I personally love. There's the playing cards. Now, they're in 3 piles at the moment. That's because to set up the game, it's really simple. Depending on the player count, you will have either numbers that go from 1 to 8 in the playing cards, or 1 to 12, or 1 to 16. This keeps everything feeling the same and keeps the maths very tidy for 2, 3, and 4 players. So to set up the game, all you do is figure out the player count. Let's say it's 3. We're going to put the 4 player cards aside and we're going to shuffle the 2 and the 3 player cards together. Bada bing, bada boom. Deal out 8 cards to each player and you're ready to go. The final thing here, the final component I wanted to show you is the vision cards. Now, these also have different versions depending on the player count. You will remove or add a couple of cards. It's only about 4 or 5 cards that change. And that just sets everything up for either 2, 3, or 4 players. So you go through the deck, you find the cards that match, in this case, a 3-player game for the visions. You shuffle these together, and in the case of a 3-player game, you would then draw out 5 of them, and you're ready to go. That's it. That's what comes in the box. It's a really small table presence. What we have here is a hand of cards in each player, an area in the middle to do the tricks, and then the most space you're going to need is over here for the temple, which is where you're going to add scoring cards. That's pretty much it. I wanted to show you what's in the box. I wanted to show you what the physical prototype looks like, and I wanted to just reach out and say, I love this game. I've been working on this game for over 3 years in fits and leaving it fallow for a few months, sometimes working solidly on it for months at a time. And I keep coming back to this concept of, what if we were drafting after the trick? What if we used the cards that were in the trick as the basis of a draft? So in Colt, we draft from these. Once you draft a card, you've got 2 things you can do with it. You can either add it to your face-up tableau, which says, oh, I really hope I score points with this card at the end of the hand, and you're going to score points by adding this card to the temple over here, or you can have it face down, which says, I'm not going to score any points with the card this hand, at least not in the temple, but I'm going to have this card in my following hand. That's it. There are really quick steps, but really meaty decisions. Since the beginning of the campaign, I've had the full rules available online, and I've had the digital prototype available for anyone to try it out. In the last update, I also released an idea I've been working on for a bit, which is the solo version of the game. What I really like about what I put together there is not just the solo rules, it's essentially an automata, which is really fun as you go through all the 3 hands of the game. But what I really like about it personally is the puzzle sort of version of it that I've created, which is fixed. I'll post it somewhere in this video. It is fixed hands that you are then trying to solve to maximize your point, and you're playing your points, and you're playing it exactly the same as you would a regular game of Cult, with the exception that you can see the AI's hand, and you obviously need to process that hand. But what you can do then is you finish the puzzle, you get a score from that, and then you can see what other players got for the same puzzle, which I think is really nice. It's not something that's very common for trick-taking games to have that, potentially puzzle of the day, Wordle sort of aspect. So if you are interested in solo games, check out the last update. There's rules there, you can play that, and you can play it either in the digital prototype, which is online, or there's PDFs where I've given you those solo puzzle sort of variants. You can compare your score. You can, if you're interested, let me know and I'll tell you my scores, and we can see who's galaxy branding this. That's pretty much it. I'll give you a second to look at some of these cards. They are all vapor wavy and cool looking. Divisions are the sort of more tactical objectives that you're given in each hand, whereas the temple is more strategic. Ultimately, the temple tends to have more points scored in it, but that's mostly in the final hand. What that means is that over 3 hands, you will have fewer points allocated in the first hand, more in the second, and then most in the third, which is what we call a 3-act structure. It means that unless you've done truly abysmally, and the other players have done truly fantastically, you're always in the game into that final hand. And you are hand building as well, which means that the decisions you make in the first, second, third tricks, let alone the first, second hand, can influence the cards that you're taking into that final hand where the most points are available. Let's take another quick look at some of the playing cards. Playing cards are super simple. All they have is an illustration, a suit, and a number. I've tried to keep, there were some ideas for action cards and abilities and this and that, but I really tried to keep the flow and the loop as clean as possible to just focus on that simple idea which has led the entire process, which is, what if we were drafting after the trick? That's it. Folks, we've got 4.5 days left. 91%, 92%. We are so close. We need 20, 25 people to join. We have 500 or so subscribers that are still on the fence. If you are at all intrigued, please try the prototype. Try the online prototype. Play a game. Play the single player game. Ask me if you have any rules questions, and I will do my best to help you out and to see if this is a game that you want. I really hope we get there. I really hope we hit 100%. It would be nice to be there before the 48 hours so that when all those messages go out to the subscribers, they're just ready to back it. I know people sometimes get leery about pledging to a campaign that might not make it. I think this is going to make it. Please share it with your friends. Do what you can. I really want to be able to bring this plus a scoreboard to your table. That's it. It's a little game called. Check it out. Check out the prototype. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.